Hello everyone, and welcome. We finally made it back. It's been a busy couple of weeks. Jeez. Sometimes life just gets ahead of you and nothing you can do about it. But we're out here now. It's a long weekend, so we're here for 2 nights. The wind picked up when we got here, so it was a bit of a tough paddle getting here. And once we got here, we decided we'd set up the tent and everything. But we're back on that island, so it should be a great weekend. We're keeping it, or no, not the island, the beach.
This is an island?
Yeah,
It's huge!
No, it's because we paddled past the island to get to the beach. And
we're on the beach, babe. We're on the beach.
we were on the way here, and I was thinking if somebody's at the beach, we'll go camp at the island. Well, it was the reverse. There's somebody camped on the island. So we're back on the beach, which is great. Either way, it'll be a great weekend. Nothing too complicated with the food. We bought burgers for one night, hot dogs for the other. Unless we catch some fish, then we'll have some fish. Hopefully, we have some fish. But the tent's pretty much set up. We're just sitting down and having a break for a few minutes. And then I gotta bust out the saw and go get some firewood. And they're calling for showers tomorrow. Nothing crazy, but a little bit of showers. So I want to dig a little trench around the tent so that any water that's coming off will just flow through the trenches around the tent, and it should keep the bottom of the tent nice and dry. Okay, so if it rains, my only worry is that the rain will come down this hill towards the tent. So my plan is I'm going to take my paddle and just dig a little bit of a trench. And that's going to direct the water around to this side. I'm going to do another trench going around the other side. And that way, whatever water comes down here, if it rains, will hit this bank and go around the tent. Looking for firewood. I'm looking for dead, standing, and I came across this. It's broken right here, and it got hung up in the trees up top. And it looks like it's been dead for quite some time.
Ooh, nice.
So I gotta try and see if I can knock that down, and that will be some fantastic firewood. Let's see if I can push this. Okay. There it goes. So it's fallen right here. And right between all these trees. But that's okay, it's wedged in there. Should make it a little easier for me to cut up.
Hello, everyone. When I was young, my brothers and I used to watch a show called Four on the Floor from the Frantics. A few days ago, I found a craft beer, which we have been tasting for the past 5 years. We've been into craft beers. I found one that is Mr. Canoehead from Sleeping Giant. So, in my brother's honors, who used to watch this show when we were young and recreate these skits, I am saying to my brothers, Andy, Danny, JM, and GP, this one's for you. This is Mr. Canoehead. Me and Andy are trying it for the very first time. It's a red pale ale. Here we go. To Mr. Canoehead.
If I can get it to open. There we go.
Mmm.
Different.
I like it.
It's different.
I
don't
like
mind it.
So, here you go, guys. This one's for you. Love you all. See you on our next adventure.
Good morning, everyone. Time for that all-important first sip. Oh, that feels good this morning. We didn't get much filming done yesterday. We set up camp and we started chatting about past camps we've done and other things we've done, and then we got into things that have been going on recently. And one conversation led to another, and we completely lost track of time. But supper last night was just a couple of burgers, nothing exciting. The wind died right down. The river was like looking at a piece of glass. The clouds all went away, so we laid in the sand and we looked at the stars. It was a beautiful night. Crawled into bed. About 3 o'clock this morning I woke up and it was starting to rain. Just a light drizzle. A little while later, it's coming down pretty hard. And then the rain died down. And when the rain stopped, the wind picked up. And that tent just started to shake. And I thought, okay, that canoe was very light. Dove out of the tent, ran over, pulled the canoe a little higher up on the shore, and tied it off. At least that way, if the wind does grab it, it's tied to a tree, it's not going anywhere. Crawl back into the tent. No sooner do I close the zipper, whoosh! Another big rainfall. Oh, the timing was perfect. I had just enough time to tie the canoe and get back in the tent before the rain came back. Earlier this morning, the rain stopped, but as you can hear, the wind is still here. I hope you can hear me on the mic. Oh. So the way that river looks right now, I don't think we're going to be doing much canoeing and fishing. I might try and do a little bit of shore fishing later. Maybe the wind will die down this afternoon and we'll hop in the canoe and see what we can do. Oh, but hey, it'll be nice and cool this morning for me to cut some firewood. I was sitting here this morning, my ears were getting cold, so I had to go get my hoodie. Coming up on that time of year soon, it's going to be hot tent season. Looking forward to that. There's still a while yet before that starts, but it's getting close. It's been a long time since I've sucked back a coffee that fast. It's cool this morning. Not cold, but cool. So while I was out looking for firewood, I grabbed some logs that were laying directly on the ground. They're going to be wet. They're not going to be any good for firewood. But I gathered some smaller pieces. I sharpened them up. And I made 4 little stakes. And what I want to do is use those wet logs, and I'm going to build just a windbreak between the fire pit and the water, because that's where the wind is coming from. So now that I've got my stakes made up, I'm going to go down and build that wall. Here's all those logs I gathered this morning, and I've already got one right about where I figured I'm going to build that wall. Now I realize there's a lot of gaps in here, so there's still some air that's going to come through, but at least it's going to block some of it. And we can always grab a couple of boughs and just stick them in through the back here and block a little bit more air. But for now I think this is going to be okay. So I went to cut a little bit more firewood, and then decided, instead of cutting boughs off the trees, there's a lot of moss back there. So she just went and gathered up a bunch of moss and filled all the cracks. Made a big difference. There's not much wind bothering the fire now. Pwah! A lot of smoke bothering me though. That's going to be perfect. At least now there's going to be a lot less wind, so we'll be able to cook supper on there tonight and not have to worry too much about it. Good job. Typical fashion, we get the wind wall all set up. Clouds start to roll in. I was trying to find the best place I could set up a tarp so that we're somewhat out of the wind and the wind isn't blowing the rain under the tarp. Found a spot a little further up into the woods. It's got a little bit of a flat area where we can sit. As soon as I put the ridge line up, it started to rain. So I just hurried up and got the tarp up as best I could. I got out under here and the sun is trying to peek out now. But it spits a bit, it stops, it spits a bit, it stops. So I'm going to sit under here for a while, see what's going to happen. With any luck, it'll clear up and we'll be having supper out by the fire pit tonight. Worst comes to worst, I threw some branches in here to keep them dry, and I've got my twig stove in my pack. So seeing as I've got time to kill in here, I'm going to break out the saw on my Swiss Army knife, and I'm going to cut up some of these bigger branches into the perfect length chunks to go into the twig stove. That way, if it does keep raining and we end up having supper under here, I've got the wood already prepped. Some of the pieces got a little bit bigger, a little bit too big for the Swiss Army knife. So I went and got the Silky and cut up a little bit more. But I got enough firewood here that if I do end up having to use the twig stove, I should have lots. And I have a big handful of finer stuff back here. So between that little pile and this pile that I have here, we should have lots. And I still have a few sticks kicking around, a few more here beside the chair, just in case. If I need them, they're there. Anne fell asleep and she's having a nap. And I really like that collapsible fishing rod that I bought a couple years ago. It's great for when we're coming way back out here and I don't want to carry a big fishing rod all the time. But it is a bit of a pain in the butt to put it together when you're only going to use it for a short while. So, shh, don't tell Anne I'm using her rod. I'm just going to throw a few casts just to see what happens. If we get lucky, we get lucky. If we don't, oh well. Mother Nature hasn't stopped messing with us all afternoon. Sun comes out, sun goes away, it starts to rain. Sun comes out, sun goes away, it starts to rain. We were just about to start cooking. Sun went away, it started to rain. We ran and hid under the tarp. I brought my little twig stove. I was just about to take out the twig stove. Sun came out, the rain stopped. So now we're back out here. And there we are. We've got some jumbo all beef hot dogs. We've got our sticks ready. We're going to start cooking hot dogs. Nice and simple. Roast our hot dogs. We've got Hellman's garlic mayonnaise, mustard, if you want to wrap, once again, Mother Nature is going to try and rain on our parade. So we're going to try and hurry up here. Pan's got a bit of butter melting in the pan. And she's got a wrap with some chocolate and marshmallow. That's the one with the Lindt chocolate. That's going to be a nice ooey gooey mess.
Yes. What we want.
And then she's going to make another one with, I bought just a no-name brand milk chocolate and a white chocolate. Just to see the difference. I like a white chocolate.
Tu veux mélanger les deux? Oops.
Look at those dark clouds rolling in. And real whipped cream. Want them? Fast, that rain cloud is coming. May have to retreat to the tarp soon. Good with the white chocolate. It's good with the white chocolate. Well, that was really good. But then that dark cloud rolled in and it started to rain and we had to run. But now we're under the tarp.
Again.
And of course the rain is starting to slow down already. It's just been the way the whole day has gone. Spit a bit, stop, spit a bit, stop. Sun comes out, wind dies down, it's beautiful. Wind picks up, clouds come back in, here comes the rain. Can't seem to win. Hopefully we get a half decent day to paddle out tomorrow. But I guess we're going to sit around and try and enjoy our evening. Running from the tarp to the beach, to the tarp to the beach. If you don't like the weather in Northern Ontario, wait 5 minutes. It'll change. Morning, everyone. I've already been through part of my morning routine, brushed my teeth. Every morning I turn on my Zoleo for about an hour or so. It's on now. It's on a rock just on the other side of these trees. That way if anybody needs to get a hold of me, they know, like for about an hour when I get up, the Zoleo is on, I'll get the message. Then I turn it on again. Late in the afternoon for about an hour or so. and then I turn it on before bed for about an hour. So if anybody needs to reach me, they know they can reach me in those times. Other than that, leave a message, and when I do turn it on, I'll get the message and we'll deal with it. But I was just getting ready to boil the water to make my breakfast and then make some coffee. And I thought, I cut all that wood yesterday and left it underneath the tarp over there in case we needed to use the twig stove for supper. We managed to cook outside, dodging raindrops. But I figured the wood's already cut. Why not use the twig stove this morning? I did the work, I should reap the benefits, right? So we're going to put the stove together. Get it fired up. Start boiling our water. There it is. All done up. I'm in a cheating kind of mood this morning, so let's just use one of our simple fire lighters. Okay, you normally light a whole lot easier than that. Let's really slow down and bust out some really fine fibers. That's the way it normally lights. Some of the advantages of using the twig stove: while you're drinking your coffee, you can keep the pot closer to the stove and it'll stay warmer longer. Another advantage, on a morning like this where it's cool, just keep throwing twigs in there and it throws off a lot more heat, so you can actually stay a little warm. The alcohol stove doesn't throw off enough heat for that. You have to be right on top of it. This, I can sit just a bit further away. Toss in a few twigs once in a while. I've got a few slightly larger pieces so that I can toss a few of those in once in a while, and they'll last just a little bit longer. Oh man, that's good. That is really good. The other advantage is it's a lot faster. Normally I'll boil up the water, I'll make my oatmeal, and then there's not enough water for the coffee, so I add water to it and I gotta let it heat up again. And I normally have time to eat my oatmeal before the water's ready. I got about halfway through my oatmeal and I had to start making my coffee because the water was boiling out of the pot. Last night we went to hide under the tarp, and then we finished eating our dessert. The rain stopped. So we came out, we sat by the fire for a little while. Looked like the sky was going to clear completely, and then all of a sudden, big black cloud come in. We decided, no more fighting with the tarp, let's just go to bed early. So we turned in last night, it was about 8:15. Laid in the tent for a while, chit-chatted for a little bit, and then I started to read my book, and that's the end of that. I start to read in bed, that don't last long. But right now, for this morning, I get to sit back, toss a couple of twigs in here, stay warm and enjoy my coffee. We're getting into the time of year that I like, where the mornings are cool, so you gotta cover up a little bit, huddle a little closer to a fire to stay warm and drink your coffee. Don't get me wrong, I like summer. I just don't like the high heat. When you wake up in the morning, you step out of the tent and you instantly start to sweat and you're not even moving yet. It's too warm. When you step out of the tent and you reach back into the tent to grab a hoodie, those are my kind of mornings. But even with all the wind and all the rain yesterday, it was still a fantastic weekend. Just makes the adventure a little bit more different and a little more memorable. You're not going to remember oh, you remember that time we went camping and it was really warm and really sunny and everything went perfectly. You don't remember those. The camps you remember was, oh, you remember that time we got caught in the rain? Oh, you remember when there was that big windstorm and it almost pulled off our tarp? That's what you remember. So this trip is one that I'll remember. Remember we had to build a wall because there was way too much wind for the fire? I'll never forget that trip to Thunder Bay. Not calling for any rain, so we set up the hammocks and we set up the tarps. But instead of pitching one tarp like this and one tarp like this, I pitched Dan's tarp this way with an awning and my tarp that way with an awning so that they were connected. We had a nice spot underneath to sit. And we ended up with a wicked rainstorm. I woke up, my tarp had so much water on it, it was down to here. I had to push the tarp off, hop out of the hammock, go dump her tarp, turn around, my tarp's full again. Get everything fixed up and buttoned up and arranged so that the water's washing away. The wind changes direction and now the rain is blowing into our hammocks. So now I got to get another tarp and build a wall. All in the middle of the night. Oh, pitch black outside, working with a headlamp. That is a memorable trip. So the gear is all packed up. It's actually just sitting on the ground behind the camera waiting for me to throw it in the canoe. The wind keeps picking up, drowning us out. So we're going to try and take this opportunity to thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it. But we're about to pack up and try and get off this water. Right now it's not too bad, but when the wind picks up, it gets pretty nasty. I think our best bet's going to be to cut across and then follow the shoreline till we can get back. And here comes that wind again. Okay, so thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure having you with us. And if you liked what you saw, go ahead and hit the like button. If you want to see more of it, hit the subscribe button. And if you're going to do that, you may as well hit the notification bell. When you do, there'll be a drop-down menu. In that menu, select all. That should let you know whenever we put out a new video. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Hopefully with less wind.